multi-billion-dollar ideas for the price of how to transform your business into a 21st century organization. Imagine entire months immersed in a whirlwind of thoughts and actions, a period where every second, every heartbeat becomes the fabric which we weave strategies. It's not just about solving our own puzzles or the challenges of our family. It is about something bigger, something that makes the heartbeat with an uncontrollable intensity, leaving a mark on people's life and an impact that lingers. Now, think about this. What is the secret ingredient that transformed a dream into a successful venture? The stage has changed, and what once required wealth and lineage to start a business was capital. And the second was understanding or experience or knowing how to start one. Now, you don't have to go to a business school, you don't have to grow up in an entrepreneurial home to start a business. Now, anyone can start, and it is nourished by something different. Now, imagine that you can enter the business world without flashy titles or a famous last name. The game has evolved, and the cost of failure, well, it's almost insignificant, right? But that's not all. There are a couple of driving forces pushing us to this journey: passion and urgency, two powerful engines that have shaped the most amazing success stories. Let me hold your thoughts beyond this, towards a story where passion is not just a word, but the spark that ignites the paths of entrepreneurship. In this narrative, we will unravel how passion and necessity intertwine on the entrepreneurial stage, giving life to companies that not only change lives, but also shape a future full of exciting possibilities. So, let's get into what I mean by an EXO and a startup. By the way, for someone to truly switch from a known and trusted brand to something new and innovative, there must be at least 10x difference for people to take action. If your brand is 10% better, the market will ignore you because people will keep trying the truly accepted brand that they are accustomed to. When someone is 10 times better, you can ignore the value of change because you know it will be worth it. The same applies to the value you and your personal connections bring. A combustion engine moving parts in its trunks. A Tesla has 17. So in terms of design cost, maintenance cost, reliability, Tesla is light years ahead and won't look back. Take a look at Figma, which in just 7 years managed to increase its market cap from 0 to 20 billion. Mercado Libre, which originally operated mainly in Argentina, has positioned itself as the leader in the market outside the country, of course also in Argentina. It stands out as the top performer in the stock market. Of course, we have witnessed the amazing expansion of ChatGPT, which has spread rapidly at the speed of light, and additionally the recent launch of Instagram Threads, reaching an impressive figure of 48 million active users in just 20 hours. That's so fucking impressive. TED, ideas worth spreading. Let me give you a couple more examples. TED Talks. Starting as a nice conference of 1,000 people going to Monterey, California, Chris Anderson took over 3 things, okay? Establish a great purpose, ideas worth spreading. Then he puts all TED Talks on YouTube, leveraging the wealth of media, then allows anyone in the tech community to create a TEDx event. In a few years, he has created a global media brand at almost zero cost. So think about this for a moment. He took an established, exclusive, and a small environment, opening up globally at almost zero cost. That's so fucking amazing to be able today. Let's review another example, but in the physical world, Guasi. Okay, let's say you have used cars. How would you radically transform yourself? Imagine how you could experience a radical transformation in the used cars industry, the traditional industry rooted in the material and the physical. Let's take the example of Guasi, a Chinese company specializing in the sale of used cars. Their approach is truly innovative. When someone wants to sell a car, this company collects a wide range of data, around 250 points in total. This data include visual and auditory information. They even capture the sound of the engine. Then, using machine learning, they can analyze the signals and detect anomalies in the engine. This allows them to assess whether the engine is of high quality or not. Furthermore, this real-time analysis provides an accurate evaluation of the car based on its engine. The seller receives this valuation and is shown the actual price of their car. However, the company offers 10% less than the current price in cash. On the other hand, when someone is interested in buying the car, the company performs a similar analysis to determine the value of the car and then offers to sell it to the customer for 10% more than the value. This transparent pricing strategy eliminates the need for intermediaries, and has proven to be successful. In just 7 years, this company has managed to capture an astonishing 80% share of the used car market in China. They sell an impressive total of 2 million cars per month. This is particularly remarkable because they have achieved this success in a sector that used to be traditional, fragmented, and focused on the physical. It is not a digital environment like some projects in Silicon Valley, but a tangible business model rooted in reality. This example shows that it is possible to achieve astonishing transformation in the current market if you adopt an innovative mindset and establish a proper structure to build a team with an exponential focus. So let's jump into Web3, the NFT world, and the metaverse. Now, looking at the Web3, most NFT projects you can observe has failed, but have managed to build a community and use many of the EXO attributes. Incredibly, this initiative went from being insignificant to having a market cap of $1 billion, $1 trillion in less than a year. And this growth will continue as the metaverse with giants like Google, Apple, and Meta invest, evolve, and completely disrupt the market. Therefore, we are likely to witness an explosion in this area. And in future episodes, we will talk in detail about this topic, but also with the rise of what we call the exponential organization, EXO, operating at this speed. The cost theorem, large firms exist because internal transaction costs are lower than external ones, has become obsolete. Although it's a bold statement about a Nobel Prize winner. Basically, at the moment, he formulated this law in the last century. Now, transaction costs are lower outside the organization than within. When working in a small environment, there is no need to deal with legal branding, human resources, and privacy issues, etc. For example, when Yahoo tried to launch a new feature on this platform, it used to take around 8 months from development to live implementation. They went through system tests, integration, branding, security, privacy, etc. In contrast, MySpace followed an approach more similar to Zuckerberg building Facebook. The difference is that Zuck told his developers that if they thought their code was ready, put it online in the web. Developers would say, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because they were given autonomy and trust, but impeccable code was also expected. If something went wrong on the left side, that developer would be fired. Thanks to this mindset, Facebook managed to implement a new feature every week, which allowed them to far surpass Yahoo, MySpace, and even Google in this model. Therefore, there are certain key characteristics of exponential organization that we can summarize in the second brain diagram. Characteristic of an EXO. So now, let's delve into the model of the characteristic of an exponential organization. First, there are 5 externalities called scale and 5 internal mechanisms, ideas. But before we dive into this, the first most important thing I want you to take away is this concept. We are creating machines and doing everything possible to create them in our image and likeness. At the end of the day, if you are doing anything big and bold in the world, it's a hard work if you are really trying to make a meaningful dent in the universe. And you need to be driving with clarity and emotion. So let's talk about the attributes of a Massive Transformative Purpose, MTP. And I repeat this over and over again. An MTP is massive. This is the first step to building your own exponential team of freakies or reshaping your existing purpose. Massive Transformative Purpose inspires you and inspires your team. It makes you proud to be doing this, It's about taking humanity to Mars. It's about reinventing the entire ecosystem. It's about doing what you want without any limitation. Another attribute is that you have to be willing to commit a decade to this, cultivating a long-term mindset. I know you might think that some of these billion-dollar startups overnight became successful, but they are actually overnight successful after 11 years of hard work. So you have to commit to a long walk. An MTP gives you a deep focus, a goal to aim for. Without a clear goal, you'll get distracted and lose track all the time. This is a principle for organizing yourself, your organization, your team. This is very essential. An MTP is not something you hear anyone talk about. Your MTP is something that comes from your heart and soul. As the founder of this organization, it has to feel true and authentic to you. Being able to invoke it from the top of the mountain and feel that It is the reason to get up every morning in a state of flow with meaning, direction, and purpose. Finally, it has to be relatively brief, contagious, easy to remember and recite, to the extent that each member of your team internalizes it. Ideally, your community and your audience also recognize it. They know what you stand for, what the promise of your company represents. So, here are some examples of some MTPs you may know. The startup of you, the new solopreneur path. If someone handed you $1 billion today to solve a transcendental problem, what need would you address? Actually, the problem is not civilization itself, but how to restore and improve our already materialized world. Now we face the task of channeling efforts to re-civilize the world. If we reflect on how we operate globally, geopolitically, and in business, we are essentially expanding the focus of community outreach, as in Facebook groups or Reddit, Discord communities, Telegram channels, our tribe, among others. The next step involves exploring how to transform all these dynamics and elevate our civilization to a higher level by integrating these emerging and convergent technologies. So, why? Why an MTP? The first one is, it may be obvious to you, but it is important to hit this topic hard enough. An MTP is brutally powerful because it has the power of attraction, the power to pull that inspiring trigger that sparks the formation of communities around it, brings along people who say, I want to be involved in that. And today in 2024, 2025, more than ever, we want meaning in our lives. We want to know that the work we are doing amounts to something more than just money. The second, an MTP helps you attract and retain talent. They will be willing to be on that 10-year mission with you. Third, it shifts the organizational focus from internal policies to external impact. Like, instead of arguing about that, we are going to transform the world in this niche. For example, if you think about any large company, 99% of the conversation in the company is about what happens inside the company. Almost zero is about what is happening outside in the world. And the MTP forces an organization to look outward. And this is one of the types of impedance mismatch between traditional companies and decentralized economies. Fourth, you know we are living in a world of extraordinary opportunities. I don't know if you feel like I do. I call it drowning in abundance or dying from abundance. It's like there are more offers, more opportunities, more startups, more investments than ever before. So it might be considered all these like shiny objects, but an NTP is a canvas. But sometimes it turns out not to be an easy task to develop your massive transformative purpose. I know. What is the fundamental problem you are trying to solve? It all starts with this desire to cure cancer or solve this fundamental pain, to the point that founders adopt an approach that drives them to address problems in a similar way, such as deciding to solve the chaos of traffic that plagues the world and should not be a permanent situation. And so it happens with any challenge that inspires you, one that motivates you to get up at 6 in the morning saying, I work to solve this. Before I go, I want to help you to finally get some clarity about how to design your MTP with these questions. What problem would you address if someone handed you $1 billion? What challenge would you work on with that $1 million soon? What did you want to do when you were a child before your parents or teachers told you that this was not a job to have? Which, by the way, they were probably right about back then, but not now. For 10 years, every business in the world focused on scarcity. If you didn't have scarcity, you didn't have a business. And today, we have abundance of energy, clean water, healthcare, education. There's a seminal book that nailed all this. Optimism is the attitude that makes abundance possible. And in some way, business models were found around continents taking advantage of this abundance, such as Uber finding a way to leverage a large number of empty cars, Airbnb leveraging empty spare bedrooms. So, where in your space is this latent abundance that you can then, with the fundamental passion you have, take it and then illuminate it using the 6D model we talked about in the part 1. This is so is it freaking awesome, right? If you want, leave me your thoughts in the comment below. What's the fundamental problem that you want to solve? Thank you for lending me this second of your time. See you in the next episode. Enjoy your week or weekend. Brian.